Yes.
Can I say one thing?
You can say anything, love. As a matter of fact, you can do the talk. My check is in the office. Right?
I just want everybody to know what a unique, amazing spiritual being that you are. I've taken many classes and courses with you. We did the life design course by phone with 5 other women.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it has moved us forward into a space and consciousness where we've all accomplished a lot.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I'm grateful, deeply grateful.
Thank you.
And you are going to be getting a wonderful workshop afterwards.
Yeah, on money, right?
I am praying that many of you will come to, because if you really want to get catapulted into the next step, Jackie's a great catapulter.
Thank you so much, Patricia. It's awesome. It's great. All right, who's next? That was fun. So, money and your soul, great topic, right? So, I don't know, let's just get present to our relationship with money. Y'all want to leave now, right? I know, what's it like, right? We think about money, it occupies a fairly big space in our consciousness, doesn't it? I know for myself, sometimes I'll be driving and I'll see some car and be like, oh, dang, this is awesome if I could afford that. I'm a car head. Or, my son will want something. I'll be like, well, we can't be spending our money like that, right? So you notice that? How in so many ways, more than a lot of other things, our relationship with money defines us in some way based on how we relate to it. So it behooves us then, as people who are committed to living a spiritual life, to really address our relationship with money. What is it? How empowered are we? In fact, the workshop this afternoon, what we'll be looking at is, what is your money consciousness? You have a consciousness about everything. You have a consciousness about everything. That's why we study unity principles. We really believe in the energetic consciousness that we are. That what is God? Today we said God is love. Well, God is the animating life force energy of everything that is in us and as us. That is God. Yes, love is an expression of that, is the base of that. God is love, but God is energy. I am energy. And my relationship with money is energy. Money is, in fact, is an energy. Currency. The word currency, it means the flow. And then, depending on your money consciousness, is how you plug into the flow that currency is. It's just always there. Financial currency is always there. It doesn't go away. The question is, how are you plugged into it? Are you creating barriers or are you creating openings? It's a good question, right? We say in the Unity movement that, a Charles Fillmore quote, God is my source and the consciousness of God is my supply. Have you all heard that quote before? Something like that? Yeah. God is my source and the consciousness of God is my supply. And that's really great, except we don't really focus enough on the second part of that, the consciousness of God. What is the consciousness of God? If that's what your supply is, it behooves us to kind of understand what that is. What is the consciousness of God? That, I believe, fundamentally, I believe that is our purpose in life. To embody, to understand, and to live the consciousness of God. And notice Charles Fillmore, the founder of the Unity movement, says that is our source. God is my source, and the consciousness of God is my supply. If you want to be plugged in the flow, the currency of life, recognize that your consciousness needs to be that of God. Yeah, that's all. Right? Wow. Because we're just like here in our human experience. We're like trapped in this human experience of thought and emotion and worry, and we have all that going on, right? So I love thinking about being the consciousness of God. So I'm going to teach you 3 principles today that I think are really beneficial in bringing your consciousness, your human consciousness, more aligned and one with your divine Christ consciousness, which is where money lives. And they're all money stories. I've got money stories to tell you today. The first one that I want to share with you is simply this. Celebrate your process and approximate the goal. Approximate the goal. See, what happens when you have a goal and you're like on your way and you're trying to accomplish that goal, and then, you know, it goes this way and you fall a little bit short of it, or it's not exactly the way that you thought it was going to turn out. What do most people do then? Oh, crap. What's wrong with me? Why can't I accomplish more goals? I'll look at all these other people. They're accomplishing their goals. Why don't I do that? And and what is the energy of that? Yeah, it's failure, it's negativity, it's restricted, right? It's restricted. See, that's what we do. See, God force energy is like this huge thing. It's just like this huge flow of water like the ocean. And then our consciousness just narrows it down with these restricted thoughts to be like a garden hose. And then you're like, oh, why don't I have more in my life? Well, because your consciousness is like a garden hose. And God, the universe is enormous and expansive. So when you're moving towards something, you want to bring something into your life, and then it falls a little bit short, here's what you should do instead. Woohoo! I'm that much closer. Oh my God, that's amazing. Celebrate your progress. Approximate the goal. So I grew up on the St. Lawrence River in upstate New York, in the Thousand Islands region. It's the border between Canada and the U.S. And the St. Lawrence River is extraordinary. And I grew up on the river, so I was kind of a water person. So when I left, one of the things I really wanted in my life was to be back on the water. Wanted to live on the water. So I was, several years ago, before I got married, when I was still single, I was looking kind of to have a waterfront apartment. And so I found this place, and it was in Newton, Massachusetts, on Quinnipiquin Road in Newton, and it was across the lake from a part of the Charles River. And I was like, yes, approximating my goal. I'm getting closer. You had to kind of like walk across the street and through a parking lot and down the way. But then there was the water. Yes. And then the next place I moved to, it was on Pond Street in Natick. There was no pond on the street. But I was like, yes.
I live on Pond Street.
Do you really? Do you have a pond? Yeah, you have a pond. Yeah. Right, there you go, right? It's beautiful. Yeah, it's healing. It's awesome. I was like, yes, Pond Street. No, I had to walk across the street, down 3 blocks, across the park, and there was the pond. But I was approximating my goal. A couple of years later, the next place I was going to move to, I saw an ad, and it was an ad for a lakefront cottage in Marlborough, to rent a lakefront cottage. And so I called the lady, and she's like, oh, God, I've gotten so many calls on it, I can't take any more calls. I was like, oh, that's really unfortunate, because, I'm going to be working in Westboro, and I'll be working at Westboro State Hospital. And she's like, oh, my son used to go there, used to be there. I was like, okay, whatever. And she, oh, do you know so-and-so? Oh, yeah, I know them. And do you know them? Oh, yeah, she's a good friend of mine. And then we start, well, she says, are you free right now? Why don't you shoot over? Sure. I shot over. Boom. So there I was. She gave me the place. I moved into my waterfront place. It was like right on the lake in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Who knew? It was so awesome. 7 years later, I bought the one across the lake for me. And now I own one. Right? But now hit rewind. Imagine the first one. And I was like, yeah, oh, this is great. I want to have waterfront, and here's that crappy little piece of the Charles River down there. Do you get that? At each step of the way, it's not saying, oh, why not? Why can't? That negativity, because that negativity takes that life force energy and it snuffs it right out of you. So any place you are now in your journey and you feel like, oh, I'm just not getting there, stop it. You're getting there. This is what it looks like when you're getting there. Can you appreciate that? So in order for you to be celebrating your progress and approximating the goal, the second thing that you need to have is a goal. You need to have some vision of where you want your life to go. Otherwise, you're living by default to be like, yeah, a little of this, a little of that, and it goes this way and it goes that way. You've got to really be moving your life forward with a vision. Like really, so this is not a vision. I hope it turns out okay. That's not a vision. That's a hope. There's no nothing to that. See, what I teach and what I believe is that what you desire to bring forth in your life is actually how God expresses in this world. And our job is to get in touch with what we desire, vision, and bring that forth. What's your spiritual practice? Fulfilling your dreams. But you can't fulfill them if you don't have any. See, it says in the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas, what must come through you, when it comes through you, will save you. And when you don't bring forth that much with what must come through you, it will destroy you. You are here to fulfill your vision on this planet. That's what you're here to do. So you've got to have a vision. So I moved into my beautiful little cottage in Marlborough. It's where I still live. I've owned it for 17 years. And I love it. So I was living there, and if you go to my old vision board, what was on my old vision board was to actually be back on the St. Lawrence River in the summer. Because, did I mention it's on the Canadian border? It's brutal up there. It's cold. My 80-year-old mother still lives there. I know, by herself. It's a hardy thing. Anyway, so there we have it, right? So on my vision board is like summer home, St. Lawrence River, and my cousin owned one. He called me several years back, and he's like, Jackie, I know you kind of want to buy this when I'm done. I thought that was going to happen later, like someday. He's like, but I'm not taking care of it. I don't spend much time there. If you want it, I'm going to sell it this year. And I thought, oh, crap, because I don't have the money for it, and I know I'm going to buy it. Just the way we roll around here. I don't have the money for it, and I'm going to buy it. And I didn't know what that was going to look like. See, this is another really important principle. How is none of your business. What is your business? The what? Well, the travel, the book you want to write, the job that wants to come through, whatever that is, that's your business. How is not your business. So what I said to my cousin on the phone was, sure, great. Let me get back to you. So you've got to stay with this story. It is extraordinary about the power of vision and approximating your goal over time. I had some college friends of mine who I had not seen in 10 years who visited me that weekend. And I'm lamenting to them about my problem of wanting to buy a summer home, family property, been in my family 6 generations, very, very dear to my heart, on my vision board since I was 18 years old. And they're looking at my little cottage in Marlborough, and they're like, this is not a problem. You rent this one out in the summers, you take that money and you pay for this one, and you'll be able to do both. I was like, Marlborough, Massachusetts? Like, it's not exactly, he's like, no, look. So he showed me how to set up a HomeAway account, homeaway.com, VRBO, vacation rental by owner. In fact, they're on that. They already had a business set up where they have vacation rentals. By the end of the weekend, I had the entire account set up. We staged the house. We took pictures. We had all of that. That summer, it cost me $15,000 to own my summer home. I made $15,500 renting out my first home. Live with vision. And I didn't know, like really no kidding, I didn't know how. I didn't know if I was going to have to get a mortgage, because if I had to, I wouldn't have been able to. I was a social worker. I didn't make any money. So I went up to my cottage, and my cousin and his wife and me and my spouse were there. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about getting a mortgage. You just pay us once a year, and that'll take care of it, and whatever terms you need, and that's fine. And his spouse and my spouse are like, should we get a lawyer and write this up or something? Handshake deal. I paid it off 2 days ago. Isn't that great? Live with vision. So how many of you have a vision, but you're not taking action on it because you don't know how? Right? How is none of your business? Do something. So, I mean, I don't highly recommend you say yes to buying a second property when you don't know how, actually. But I did. I mean, it was my cousin. It wasn't the bank. But, so whatever just take an action. Call somebody. Have a conversation. Go on an informational interview. Do a freaking Google search. Do something. Because that thing is the message to the universe that you are, I'm serious about this. Yes, I'm afraid, but my faith is going to win. When you start putting that energy out, everything is consciousness. What is God? The animating life force of the universe and of you. When your animating life force energy is like, yeah, no, I don't know how, your life will not change. You'll be like, yep, doing this. This is what I do. 9 years now I've spent every summer at my summer home. We've renovated it. It was all like kitschy cottage. And one of my friends said, you went from a camp to a cottage the year that we renovated it. It's nice. It's a little cottage. It's really sweet, But it's not about me. I want you to be like, oh, wow, Jackie's all that. No, I'm not really. I'm just like me. Just like me, the girl from that tiny little town in upstate New York. But I believe in spiritual law, and I practice spiritual law. So one of the practices of the 2 principles I've taught you, one is celebrate your progress, because that's energy, the energy of celebration. And then 2, live with a vision. Have a vision of what you want, where you want it to go. Most people have occasional visions, or they have a vision for their life, but it's like, yeah, no, I can't do that. That energy constricts. You've got to expand. Not great. 3rd principle, and what we really need to focus on and work on in our lives, is growing and expanding your capacities and your energies all the time. How many of you feel like, well, I'm too old to keep growing? No, you're not. You've got to keep growing and expanding your capacities. So I teach a course called Living a Transcendent Life, and it's all about living in the higher realms of energetic consciousness, of acceptance and love, equanimity, peace, joy, celebration, right? Living your whole life that way. So it's a course that I teach. And last year I took on a manifestation experience because I wanted to be able to pay for my cottage and my son's school, I took on manifesting an additional $30,000 in 90 days of unexpected income. $30,000 in 90 days of unexpected income. And it was in the realm of my believability. I believed I could do that. I was like, yeah, it's 10 grand a month. That's a stretch. That's definitely a stretch, but I really believe it. So the principle that I plugged into, and I want you to take this with you, because this is the animating energy behind the other 2 principles. The energy of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy. Enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy. Enthusiasm, entheos, the God within. When you and by the way, I don't wake up in the morning feeling enthusiastic. I'm not one of those, woohoo, I got the world, let's go kind of people. I'm like, oh crap, another day kind of people, right? Just who I am. But once I kind of get up and get moving, the enthusiasm finds me. And it finds me because I've learned over my life how to generate enthusiasm, how to generate excitement. And that last piece, expectancy. That, more than anything, is what had me create that. Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you the end of the story. I generated $30,000 in 60 days. $30,000 in 60 days. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I had money coming at me and here's what I did. I got home from work one day and there was a $14.92 rebate from Verizon for something. I was like, woohoo, unexpected income. And I kept it in my memo pad. I was like, did you get $14.92 from Verizon? The next day, I got a $100 rebate for my car insurance. And my car insurance, no idea why. Like, all right, this is fabulous. I'd find a dime on the sidewalk. Yeah, I'd put it in. By the end of the week, my mother-in-law, for no apparent reason, decided that she was going to give 10 grand to each of her kids. Yes. That was a big take, right? I only got 20,000 more to go. I was like a dog with a bone. Expectancy. That what you look on the back of your program. Turn it with that little sunset picture. Yeah, what's that say?
One heart.
Go ahead.
So I
Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. Expectancy. Not like, gee, I hope it turns out. No! Expectancy. Creating your life inside of this energy. And if you don't have it, like you're kind of like me, you don't wake up in that space in the morning, here's what you do. Generate it. You generate it. You create that energy. You do whatever you have to do. Watch a movie about enthusiastic people. Go to Motivation Grid on YouTube and watch an hour-long, motivational videos. Motivation Grid, it's a video blog on YouTube. It's great. They've got great motivational videos there. Like, I don't know what you have to do. Get a motivation partner. Get a create enthusiasm partner. See, the answer is not like it can't happen for me. The question is, are you going to happen to life? Life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. And in fact, it is happening as you. As you are, so is your life. So this may very well be my last talk here at Unity of Cape Cod. I've spoken here many times for many years. In the last year, my spouse took a job in Washington, D.C., and has been living down there for the year. And my son and I are moving in June to relocate our lives. It'll be the first time now in almost 18 years that I've not been living on waterfront. See how long that lasts. I'm going to be in the swamp. Not exactly on my vision. That's so funny. I hate it when my audience is funnier than I am. Hate that. That was really funny. Thought has crossed my mind, right? No, so I'm moving to Washington, D.C., and, expanding my horizons there. And, people are like, how you feel? And so it's really a rich time in my life that I am equally excited and enthusiastic, and I know there's great things and wonderful people everywhere. I've actually already spoken at many of the Unity churches in the D.C. and Maryland and Virginia area, so I'm looking forward to church shopping and decide which one I'll call my home church. So I'm equally excited and equally sad. I love my relationships in my community. I have loved serving this community over the years. I've spoken here probably the last 5 years or so, many, many times over the last 5 years. So, so it's great to be with you all. I hope that you will come and spend some time with me this afternoon. What we're going to talk about in the workshop is the energy of enthusiasm, excitement, expectancy, how to put that in your life, and a few other principles of your money consciousness. So life doesn't happen to you, it's happening for you. It's happening as you. It is your spiritual responsibility to live your life with vision. Why? Because your desires are how God expresses on this world. And we need more people lit up, on fire, living their purpose. Your purpose is to grow in energetic consciousness, back to the divinity from which you came. And then, of course, it's not always a linear path to the expression of your visions and your goals. So celebrate the journey. Celebrate the process. God is good all the time. Thank you.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at www.unityoncapecod.org.